What up, y'all? So today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna be doing the categories for UFC 323. So all 5 fights on the main card of UFC 323 are gonna be assigned a category, right? Based on what I think about each fight. So I will let you know what the categories are gonna be shortly, right? It's gonna be a surprise. Okay. All right. The signing of the category is going to be a surprise, but the fights. Let's talk about them a little bit. So we got Marab versus Peter Yan. This is the second coming of this fight. The first fight we know that Marab dominated. I do think that Peter Yan will have a better showing. Peter Yan is my favorite fighter. This is going to be a very tough fight to watch. Okay, because I just think that Marab is Marab, man. You know, he's a tough character, man. He's a tough boss, final boss. He is very, very hard to beat. It's going to take something unbelievable to beat Marab. I do think that Peter Yan will give him a tougher test. I think that Peter Yan is a computer. He downloaded a lot of data in the first fight, and I think that he's going to be much better in the second fight. I think it'll be a much closer fight than people are giving Yan credit for. I do think it'll be a closer fight, but again, it's hard to talk about it. Yan's my favorite fighter to watch. The skill level is just the fights that he's had, some of the classic chess matches that he's had, Jose Aldo, the Song Yadongs, the Corys, he's had some amazing fights. But so that's the first fight on the card. That's the main event. Alessandro Pantoja versus Joshua Van. That's the co-main. Joshua Van is a young lion, man. The young lion. This guy's coming. He will, if he doesn't get the belt this time, he will be the champion at some point. He's 24 years old. He's had like 7 fights in like a year. A year and a half, 2 years or whatever, like 8 or 9 fights or something crazy. He already suffered that one loss that every young fighter needs in Charles Johnson. And he's fighting like the king, right? Alessandro Pantoja, the most underrated champion in history. And now Alessandro Pantoja, Joshua Van is. But, that should be a very, very good fight. Actually, we'll see. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about what I think about that fight here shortly. But it's making out to be something special. I think something special is going to happen either way. Let's just put it that way. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Jan, has been in the game for a long time. Bogdan's, again, a young lion. There's a lot of unks versus, like, the new cats coming up, you know what I'm saying? Bogdan's got a lot of power, Bogdan's been on a nice little run. Jan's been the champion before, and, he's fought some high-level competition his last couple, Carlos Ulberg, Pereira, Ankalaev before that, so it should be a fun one. Brandon Moreno, one of my favorite flyweights ever. He might be my favorite flyweight ever, to be honest. Versus one of my favorite up and coming flyweights in Tatsuro Taira, right? Again, old school, the old guard versus the new school. Should be a very, 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 very good fight. Especially if you watch a Tatsuro Taira versus Brandon Royval, where Royval and Moreno, I think, are not necessarily on the same level, but I do think that they're close. They've been in the top 2 and 3 in the division for a very long time, and I think that Tatsuro Taira is the new young lion. He's coming, man. He's coming. Him, Vans of the world, these guys are all coming up the division, and I think it's I think you see the guys replacing are good fighters. So I'm excited for that fight. I'm really excited for that fight. He's gonna be a hard, it's gonna be what's the saying? It's gonna be bittersweet because I like both fighters a lot. I really like. These are 2 of my favorite flyweights, so it's gonna be hard to watch. And then we have bantamweight Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Again, old guard versus the new school. Peyton Talbot, that new line coming up, has a bunch of knockouts. In his last couple has shown improvement in his takedown defense and stuff like that. Henry Cejudo's been a double champion. there's nothing to say about Henry. Olympic gold medalist. He's been a champion in 2 divisions. He's been at the top of the hill twice. Henry's Henry, legend. So we're gonna get into it. Let's talk about the categories now, right? So the first category we have is easiest win. Who will get the easiest win on this main card? You'll have to wait and see. Second category we got is he's not ready yet. Which one of these fighters won't be ready for the task at hand come UFC 323, right? Then we got the changing of the guard. This main card is filled with that, right? So, I'm not making this easy on you guys, right? I'm not making this easy on you guys. And if you're watching, please put in the comments who you think is going to be, which fight's going to be awarded each category, right? Number 4, we got Unk Still Got It. Unk Still Got It, man. Which category do you think? And it's funny because each one of these categories can apply to each fight. So it's kind of, except for maybe the championship fight, or the main event. And then the last one is the most evolved. Dun, dun, dun. No one could really guess my categories, so I did put a lot of thought into this, and it's very, very well put together, I know. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start at number 1. Let's start with the first one. Do I want to go in order, chronological, or do I want to go in reverse chronological? Yeah, let's go in chronological. So the easiest win will be Alessandro Pantoja, guys. I'm sorry. I really like Joshua Van, and Joshua Van will be the champion. I think this is going to be another Charles Johnson moment, and only the difference will be he will be submitted very easily. I think that Joshua Van, while he has very good takedown defense, has not fought anyone to the level of Pantoja, the grappling that Pantoja has, and that's going to surprise him, just like when Charles Johnson rocked him. That surprised him and put him down. You know what I mean? I think he's going to get surprised again, and I think this is needed. He's going to have 2 surprises in his career. I mean, the guy's fought like 7 or 8 times in the last year and a half, I think. So he loses to Pantoja. I think he'll be right back in the mix within like a 6 months, pretty much, because we'll see Joshua Van again pretty soon. So I think this is going to be this loss will be good for Joshua Van. It will be good for him because I think that boy, I mean, he learns so fast. I mean, again, I think he said something. He started fighting MMA like 7 or 8 years ago, and if that's the case, I mean, his takedown defense by the time he's 26, he should be untaken downable. Brick wall takedown defense, untaken downable. He should be untaken downable by the age 26. He's just turned 24, so by the time he turns 26, he should be untaken downable. Okay, so I'm very hyped on Joshua Van. I'm a very big fan, but I don't think that he beats a Pantoja. I can't see a world where he beats Pantoja. The grappling's too good. Once Pantoja gets him down, gets his back. Like, here's the thing. It won't be easy for Pantoja to get him down. He might not get him down on the first attempt. He might not get him down on the second attempt. But I'm telling you right now, that third attempt will happen. Once he gets him down to the ground, he'll get his back, he'll get his neck, and he'll strangle him out cold. Joshua Van will hit Pantoja a lot. Here's the thing, though. He couldn't put Royval away. He couldn't knock out Royval. I mean, he has a lot of records for strikes, by the way. Let's just say that. So if he's hitting guys that many times without knocking them out, you really think he's going to knock out Pantoja? I don't think so. You understand? So I do think that Pantoja will get this done. And this fight has been awarded the category of easiest win for Alessandro Pantoja. On to the next category. I cannot speak. I am very sorry. Long day. We got he's not ready yet. And that's going to go to Peyton Talbot. We saw Hani Barcelos beat this guy 2 fights ago. The Lima fight was impressive, but it wasn't that impressive. It wasn't like he styled on Lima. It wasn't like he finished Lima. You know what I mean? These guys are not on Henry Cejudo's level. Henry Cejudo, again, Olympic gold medalist. I mean, he had a very good... It's not like we're seeing Henry Cejudo and he's not like testing his competition. Song Yadong tested him. You know what I'm saying? Aljamain Sterling tested him. Merab tested him. Now, Merab picked him up and babied him, but he hurt Merab. He hit Merab with a nice shot in the first round. I think he dropped him a little bit, took him down. He was in a back and forth versus Aljamain Sterling. Song Yadong, I was shocked. I thought Song Yadong was going to knock him into another universe. And he had a good showing against Song Yadong. So, for me to say a Peyton Talbot's going to come from losing to a Hani Barcelos to beating a Henry Cejudo, a top 10 guy, I don't know, man. I don't think Peyton Talbot's that good. I just don't. I was very high on Peyton Tubb when he first came. I thought he had good power. I thought he was going to work on that takedown defense. And he's still young, so he still has a long way to go potentially. But I just don't think he's ready for Henry Cejudo. So he's not ready yet. Award goes to the fight of Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Category number 3, changing of the guard. This one really hurts here to award because I'm a huge fan of Brandon Moreno. I'm a huge fan of Brandon Moreno, but I'm also a huge fan of Tatsuro Taira. And I also respect what both fighters can do. Brandon Moreno, a multiple-time champion at flyweight, multiple-time champion. I mean, you know, if you're beating a guy like Figgy, man, you know what I'm saying? If you're beating a guy like Figgy, you are... I mean, he's goated for the division. He's definitely top 5 flyweights of all time. I mean, hands down, for sure. You know what I mean? Brandon Moreno has fought everyone. I mean, his last fight versus Mira Baz, he styled on him. We saw what he did to Ursig. You know what I'm saying? Roy Val and him had they're 1-1 in their career. You know what I'm saying? We saw the quadrilogy or whatever you call it versus Figgy. Brandon Moreno is one of my favorites to watch. Very well rounded. You know, even versus the champ Pantoja. You know, he's had 3. Okay, Pantoja beat him up the first couple, and then he had a war in the last fight against Pantoja. And I think if they fought again, they would have another war. You know, so Brandon Moreno is very, very good. Tatsuro Taira, man, you know, look, he had a very, very good fight versus Brandon Royval, and before that was on a 6-fight win streak. You know, I think his wrestling his back take is elite, man. He gets your back, and you know, I think it's just inevitable that he gets your back at some point. You know what I mean? I think that he's that good at wrestling. I mean, Hyung Sung Park made easy work of him in that fight. You know, we saw what happened with Perez or Alex Perez. You know, once he got Perez's back, he was doing sit-ups. He was literally doing the core strength that you have to have. He was doing sit-ups on this man's back. You know, took his knee out of completely out, and pause, by the way, that sounded very suspect. But he was doing sit-ups on Alex Perez's back. Slipped his knee out of place. Injured, you know, Alex Perez hasn't been back since. You know, Tatsuro Taira is an elite grappler, man. A very elite grappler. He showed that he belongs when he fought Roy Val. That was one of the best fights of the year last year. One of the best fights of the year. He showed that he belongs. He took time after that loss, I do believe, to go and, you know, work on his striking. We saw that versus Hyung Sung Park. I mean, it's going to be a very, 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 very hard fight. And, you know, part of me doesn't even know if I want to pick Tatsuro Taira. I really don't. But I am going to award him that. Something's telling me that this is going to be his fight to take. You know, Brandon Moreno has been at the top already. He's been to the top several times. He's climbed that mountain several times. You know, even after the Roy Val fight, he was mentioning how, you know, he just felt kind of not himself, and like, you know, maybe he was tired, and, you know, those are things that you hear from a guy that's been to the top so many times. Tatsuro Taira is hungry. He's a young lion that's Japanese. He's a young Japanese lion. There's no lions in Japan except for Tatsuro Taira, okay? And so I think that Tatsuro Taira is this young lion, and I think he's coming, man. He's coming. It's going to be the best fight on the card, in my opinion. It'll be a fight of the night again, just like him versus Roy Val. And yeah, I think that this is going to be the changing of the guard. This fight will be awarded the changing of the guard. Unk Still Got It. Jan Blachowicz. Jan has fought, listen, his last fight was against Carlos Ulberg. A lot of people are arguing that he won that fight. A lot of people, including listen, it could have went Jan's way. Jan was walking him down. Ulberg was running the entire fight. Before that, he fought Alex Pereira, who a lot of people are saying won. He beat. A lot of people are saying that Jan Blachowicz beat Alex Pereira. A lot of people are saying that. It's why. Why would they say that if it's not true? I'm just kidding. Listen, that's another fight that could have went either way. But my point being, these are the guys that are at the top of the division right now. Even before Alex Pereira, he fought Magomed Ankalaev. Who are the three guys at the top of the division right now? The champion Alex Pereira, Carlos Berger, and Magomed Ankalaev. The levels of competition that he's fought versus Bogdan. Bogdan is good. Don't get me wrong. Bogdan is good. He's number 11, man. You know what I'm saying? Nikita Krylov, good win. Good win. Listen, Nikita Krylov disappeared for like 3 years. No one knows what he was up to. Before that he had Ilikana, Ryan. Like, these are not the level of competition that for him to go from that to I guess Volkan Oezdemir, but he lost to Volkan. You know what I'm saying? For him to go from that level of competition to Jan Blachowicz, and for people to think that he's going to get a win, I don't think so. Unk Still Got It goes to this fight, the last category, the most evolved, and that's going to, by process of elimination, that's going to go to Merab. Most evolved, and it's just... In his last fight versus Corey Sandhagen, the striking was on his full display. Merab's not known for striking. He hurt Corey, who's known as an elite striker. We saw what he did versus Umar. We saw what he did versus Sean O'Malley in his last fight. Merab is the most evolved. The striking is he just seems like he's getting better and better and better and better every fight. Most evolved goes to Merab. Okay? This are the 5 categories awarded to each fight on the main card of UFC 323. I cannot speak. I'm so sorry. Long day, you know what I mean? It's your boy, MMA Mechanic. Like, comment, share, subscribe, bell icon, all the above. Until next time.